Arsenal survived in the end, escaped with a 2-1 win, and are still on course for the quadruple. We are into March now, and the whispers over a quadruple. What's the next level up? Is it a murmur? They're turning into murmurs of a quadruple now.
Sure.
They couldn't, could they?
No, they won't.
Okay, thanks.
I think it is deeply unwise to talk about quadruples until we know who's won the League Cup. I'm also of the belief that you can't win a quadruple because the nature of English football is too attritional. There are too many games, too many attritional games, and players essentially just burn out come crunch time. Liverpool came close, and then the following season everyone got injured.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely spot on. The closest Liverpool got was in 2022. They won both the domestic cups.
Yes.
Got to the final game of the Premier League season. City won.
And then Courtois had a fantastic game in the Champions League final.
But you're right about the physical capabilities of them, because Thiago Alcantara, who'd been such an important player,
gets injured just before the League Cup final.
No, he was injured in the he was injured just in the build up to. He basically had to have painkilling injections to play in the Champions League final. Van Dijk had come off injured in the FA Cup final. It's incredible. The ferocity of of going for a league, the games that Arsenal play. I mean, I know everybody are looking at the running that Arsenal have got and think that it's straightforward-ish. It never ever turns out that way.
This is not to disrespect Arsenal, in that I think Arsenal are a fantastic team and they are going to finish the season with at least one of the big trophies. But to win 4, you need to maintain a level of quality and play football at a level of intensity that I think is just outside English teams, particularly at a time where other teams across Europe are able to change their schedules. If you compare PSG's March fixture list to Arsenal's March fixture list, it's completely night and day. PSG have managed to get one of their games pushed to a Friday, so they have more time to prepare to play against...
The league have given them that time off especially.
So they have more time to prepare against playing Chelsea. These are the little things that allow a French team or a German team to prepare better for I mean, they can't even... Well, Germany can't have a quadruple. France can. No, they can't, because they've combined their 2 cups. So the quadruple doesn't even exist in certain nations. This is no disrespect to Arsenal. I don't think we should be talking about the Q word because, 1, we don't know who's won a League Cup yet, and 2, have you seen the English schedule? Unfathomable. If they do, bring me my hat and my shoe and I'll eat them online.
Well, we'll definitely bring you back onto the show just to see that. Jackie, just generally on the FA Cup, a word on Mansfield, because they really did put up a fight. Macclesfield had an extraordinary run in the Cup, beat the holders in Crystal Palace earlier on. Crystal Palace themselves last May, winning the FA Cup, their first trophy in their history. Just overall, when you look at the FA Cup weekend like this and what has happened in previous rounds and what happened last season, is it another example that maybe the much maligned FA Cup and maybe the magic had gone, it's well and truly alive and kicking?
Yeah, I don't think it's gone. I think it's all cyclical, isn't it? Like, you have a couple of obvious results and you're kind of not really enthralled by them, and you go, oh, the FA Cup, it's just getting in the way of a good Premier League or whatever. And then you have what happened at Macclesfield to Crystal Palace, for whom it really mattered, by the way. It wasn't like second string and they weren't that fussed. It did matter. And it was just a magnificent day. So I don't think the FA Cup magic has gone anywhere. If we start tweaking it and we start, denigrating the tournament with new regulations, then it could do. But no, I mean, I watched the Wrexham-Chelsea game yesterday and it was very much alive and kicking. It was fabulous. I enjoyed every single minute of it. I was at Mansfield last weekend in the AFC Wimbledon away end, and wouldn't have expected Mansfield necessarily to have pulled out of that performance against Arsenal yesterday, but it's the FA Cup that lifts these kind of performances, and the pitches, and the oldest ground in the world, by the way, I learnt last weekend at Mansfield, because it's proudly adorning the stand there. But I think it's very much alive and kicking, and I think it's with the pressure on Premier League managers these days going to those kind of grounds, the pressure that they feel to not be knocked out is enormous, and Chelsea benefited from a red card in the end and came twice from behind, and good luck to them, but it wasn't straightforward.
We'll come to Chelsea in a moment, but sticking with the theme, Dom, of quadruples and maybe clubs not being able to do it, there is another team who is still in the mix, albeit an outside bet considering where they are in the Premier League just now after the midweek results, is Manchester City. the Mail on Sunday, Toon sick of the sight of quad chasing City. They seem to be, I mean, I think Eddie Howe's joked about it. At least they didn't get Manchester City in the Champions League. But the time that they can meet them, I think, is in the final.
Yeah.
They'll probably take that. No Haaland, of course. 10 changes from the draw against Nottingham Forest, but seemingly no problem for Manchester City.
No, the most impressive aspect of it all was the fact that Newcastle had started well. They were in the ascendancy. They got the goal, and then all of a sudden, the cogs clicked, and away they went. Man City, with the incredible quality that they've got. I would have a sneaking suspicion that they might win more trophies than Arsenal.
Oh.
Just in terms of the cups,
So City for the domestic cups, Arsenal
Yeah.
win the league.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think he's got the manager's got an edge about him, and I did the first leg of this. I was with Craig Hope for the first leg of the League Cup semi-final up there in January, and he just looks like he's got an edge about him. He just looks like he's got the eye of the tiger in terms of the fact that you can make 10 changes yesterday, not have the best centre forward in the world, and do that at a very, very tough place to go, I think is ominous.
Carl, he says the manager's got an edge about him. It is something that I noticed when I watched that game as well, particularly what was happening on the sidelines. And Martin Hardy, who was at the game at St James's Park from the Sunday Times, he says Guardiola's biggest fight of the evening came in his efforts to remove his winter coat. Such was his fury at a foul given to his side midway through the second half. He even appeared to square up to Lewis Smith, the fourth official, after receiving a yellow card for his rage, with fist clenched and eyes bulging. This is not a Pep Guardiola that seems to have lost his hunger, that some people might have accused him of earlier on in the season, and one that many believed, even though he's got a contract until the summer of 2027, that he might actually call it a day this summer.
Yes, I don't believe Pep Guardiola is going from English football anytime soon. Sam Lee at The Athletic wrote a fantastic piece last week about how Pep Guardiola's changed their early build-up. So you saw Rodri and Nico sort of drop deep and do short goal kicks, and Pep Guardiola explained this was sort of an attempt to break down teams that are now looking to man-mark in defence way more. And Sam's point was amazing about how the method of building up wasn't necessarily successful, but it was Pep Guardiola trying to figure things out. And one thing that's always stuck with me is an anecdote his wife gave, which is you can talk to him about something that has nothing to do with football for about 40 minutes before his eyes glaze over and you go, I've lost him. He's thinking about football again.
40 minutes?
No,
40 minutes.
It's the 32. It's 32 minutes, isn't it? It was in the book that Marty Perrinau did about Bayern Munich. It's the 32 minutes. That's what is.
And then the eyes glaze over.
That's ages.
That's what his cut-off
Before
is.
No one can talk to me for 32 minutes without me
No one
bringing
can
up
talk to me
football.
for 32 seconds.
Same. I'm astonished it's that long, seriously.
But I just feel as if Pep Guardiola, sometimes he gets into these moods where even if there is an opponent in front of him, he sort of invents a new one. So he has something else to chase.
Yeah.
And when you have that sort of singular drive, that sort of bizarre focus on the tactical minutiae of football and how to not only get your team to be good, but also to figure out the master puzzle of how football should be played, which I think that's how he views football. I think he's going to be here for a very long time, which, as someone who doesn't support Manchester City, makes me do a big weary sigh. Go away, please.
The man's a genius. I remember I did a game when he was Bayern Munich manager. We played Hertha Berlin. I think it was November 2015. Just before he came over, and it was one of those rare games that you could just watch and you weren't reporting on live. And that was the first time I'd seen him do that 2-3-2-3 system, and he knew Bayern Munich was so much better. And he was like, how can I entertain myself during this game? And he was working things out for him. He's like, the way he ticks over. That's what just gives me his record of winning and his ability to work things out in big games just makes me think that through the final weeks of the season, they're the ones that will just have that little bit of an edge.
Do you think they're going to win the Premier League?
What?
Do you think they're going to win the Premier League?
No, I don't think Arsenal win the Premier League, and Arsenal would be the deserving Premier League winners. But I would think it would be very. If he's within 4 points before that game at the Etihad, all bets are off.
Okay.
And they've got that game in hand, haven't they?
Yeah. I mean, this probably sounds a bit bizarre to say. I think City are the most likely of the two teams to have an unexpected result, just because of the very nature of how he's still building this team together, and it's still quite new. But the talent that they've got and what he's got himself, that X factor, would make me think that they would be. They're very dangerous.
And the addition of Semenyo as well in January, and Gehi as well. But Semenyo's just added that kind of hit the ground running Premier League, just joy and goals and freshness, real freshness, which is a bit awesome for everybody.
What was it?
It was a real FA Cup tie today. Mansfield made it difficult, didn't they?
It was a proper FA Cup game, and credit to Mansfield, the stadium, the atmosphere that the fans created. It was a bit of banter, great atmosphere as well for them to keep pushing the team, and they made it really difficult for us.
On a game like today where it's challenging, is it just those moments of quality that you need? They were two great finishes from your forward players in Mandaraki and Eze, weren't they?
Yes, if not, you have to be much more ruthless in front of goal than we were today, because we have 4 or 5 big open chances that we didn't convert. So if that's the case, then the margin becomes smaller. You give hope to the opposition. Obviously, we made a mistake on the goal as well that cost us the momentum and the belief for them. But overall, happy with the performance. We have 2 16-year-olds in the starting lineup, which is, I don't know if ever happened as well, and I'm very, very proud of them.
Tell you're happy with your team's performance today. It feels as if at the moment things are going well. We're getting to the start of the season where results mean so much, performances mean so much, but it feels like the mood within your group is so positive.
It is. I think everybody feels involved. Obviously, we're playing in all fronts, and we have all the desire that game by game we can start to be a little bit closer to the things that we can achieve. So, that's what we have to.
How many trophies would Arsenal win this season?
Do you know, I think if you start talking about how many you're going to win, it's going to sound arrogant. You know, I think at the end of the day, it's like...
So you're not going to answer the question?
Martin, is that?
No, of course.
It's 4?
Well,
None?
they're in 4 competitions, aren't they? Nearly went out today. You know, it was that close.
Yeah,
Mansfield give them a real scare, give me a scare. So no, it's just game to game. And it's been expensive with the injuries. So the manager will have to, lick their wounds a bit.
Do you want me to answer the question?
Go on, Macca.
I think they'll win 2.
Okay.
I think they'll win the league
Which
and
2,
they'll
man?
win one of the domestic cups.
Okay. Fair enough. I like a man that answers a question.
Thank you.
He's now affiliated with Arsenal now, isn't he?
No,
See with the Champions League draw. He doesn't say anything negative anymore.
If you're an Arsenal fan, you have to be cautious.
Yeah,
There's been lots of disappointments over the years.
Absolutely. Well, what a great way it has been to start the day. I'll tell you what, if this...
FA Cup tie. Talk me through the finish. Absolutely no safety. You can't beat putting it in the top bins, can you?
Yeah, it was I just saw the space and I saw the opportunity to shoot, so I took it. Difficult environment to play in today, but we don't really need to do, and we're through to the next round.
Yeah, job done from your team today. You're now still fighting on 4 fronts. You see what it means to your supporters. How much are you enjoying that process of being part of a cup final coming up, through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League? It's a good time to be in an Arsenal shirt.
100%. This is what we aim for. This is what we're pushing for every single day. We're working hard. So to be in this position is important. It's where we want to be, and we'll keep going.
I'm sure you all set targets at the start of the season, and right now you're right in amongst them. They're all achievable. How are you finding that change of having the targets at the start to now you're on the brink of doing something really special?
Yeah, I think it's the mentality of taking each day, each game as it comes, and doing what needs to be done. Putting ourselves in the position, because without focusing on the process, you don't get there. So, we're working hard. We're doing everything we can.
That was well done. Good. Appreciate it.
Winners on the day and through to the quarter-final, but absolutely brilliant game for a neutral there. Martin, you're not neutral. I'll ask you, Macca.
I can hear the disappointment. I hear the disappointment in your voice. But anyway, they managed to scrape through.
I think regardless of whether you're affiliated with Arsenal or whether you're affiliated with Mansfield, the game was the game, wasn't it? It was an excellent game. It was a League One side doing themselves proud against arguably the best team in Europe, as I said before the game, possibly the world, because the European teams are normally stronger. Arsenal just had that little tiny bit of quality when you can call on the likes of Eze and Saka and Yuri and Timber to come on when you just need to get over the line. That's exactly what they did, and that's exactly what they did, and they withstood that little bit of aerial pressure near the end, which you have to. They showed really good character, but I thought as an FA Cup tie goes, it was brilliant. Crowd really enjoyed themselves. Arsenal are the rightful winners, and Mansfield walk off the pitch look at themselves in the mirror and are really, really proud of themselves. Nigel Clough and his boys were excellent. They really were.
Yeah,
It's
great.
a compliment. It's a compliment to Mansfield
Yeah, it
that
was,
they've had to put those really star quality players on. And Eza as well, scoring that goal, not scored since the cup final. He came on and really showed it's about quality, isn't it? You need to get through these matches.
All his goals have been against Tottenham as well, so a new team for us today.
Stop going on about Tottenham
I know,
all the
I don't know why
time.
that came out just then. I know. I need to know my audience, really, don't I? I'm glad to reprimand me. Let's have a look at the goals. Noni Madueke. It took him 41 minutes, though, to open the scoring today, but ultimately just power behind the shot.
Yeah, nice save. Falls to Martinelli, who recycles it. This is just a lovely hit, isn't it? On his left foot, on his favoured left foot. As I said, whether it takes a little deflection, it doesn't matter. The deviation of the ball, the flight of the ball, he was always aiming it away from the goalkeeper, inside of the foot, bending it away, and it was a beautiful finish to open the scoring.
Yeah, I mean, that in training, he'd be hitting a lot of balls from there, and he kind of like he walked into it, slowed himself down, and then pulled the trigger. Bang, explosive, really good finish.
For Mansfield Town.